Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3, and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody. I have something really cool to tell you about. If you haven't heard yet about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain here. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one single place. Now, the way that you can do this is you got to download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm, and then you can get started. It's really fun. We just switched over recently here at All Too Real 2, and I'm enjoying it so far. So be sure to check it out and let us know what you think. Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. Yeah. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me via Zoom is...
Matthew Surf Ninjas Haas.
Is that one word?
Yeah, it's one word.
Okay. Is that spelled... like it sounds?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just checking.
It's not Surf Ninjas, it's Surf Ninjas.
Surf Ninjas.
Yeah, so.
Is that, Pat Usanian?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I think, the fictional kingdom, it doesn't exist in real life, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, if you guys haven't guessed yet by that or by the, title on the episode description. Today we are visiting another film from the 90s. This one that we kind of remembered liking and aren't really sure how we feel now. It's 1993's Surf Ninjas, which, was directed by Neil Israel and written by Dan Gordon. Neil Israel, who has actually directed some, decent television and TV over the years, and also some not so decent. But he was the writer of Police Academy, Real Genius, Bachelor Party, all great movies from the 80s.
Yeah, Real Genius. I love that movie.
Me too. He also wrote Look Who's Talking 2.
Oh, okay. No comment.
Exactly. And he wrote the Patty Duke Show, Still Rockin' in Brooklyn Heights, the 1999 made-for-TV movie. I don't know why, I just wanted to point that one out. Because it jumped out to me. But as a director, he's directed such great films as National Lampoon's Thanksgiving Family Reunion, which I've never seen, The Brady Bunch in the White House, episodes of Love Boat: The Next Wave, Clueless, the TV series, Lizzie McGuire, the TV series, Phil of the Future, Joan of Arcadia.
Okay.
Yeah, and The Wonder Years, and he also directed the movie Bachelor Party, so that he wrote. Dan Gordon, who wrote the masterpiece that is Surf Ninjas. Surf Ninjas. Fun to say, Matt, isn't it? Say it with me, Matt.
Surf Ninjas.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Anyways, he has written. He wrote the story for Rambo: Last Blood, which came out last year. And he wrote Surf Ninjas. Okay, anyways. But he also wrote Passenger 57.
Okay.
The year before Surf Ninjas came out. And the year after it, he wrote Wyatt Earp. He wrote the movie Murder in the First, The Assignment, The Hurricane, which is the movie about Hurricane Carter that starred Denzel Washington.
Hey man, he really wanted to do this first, so...
I'm just trying to deal with this in my head that the same guy who wrote The Hurricane...
Well, he had Surf Ninjas in his heart, and he just needed to get that out. He needed to write that on paper, send it to the studios. You got to make this movie. I'm going to make all these other great movies in the future, but if I don't get Surf Ninjas out, and it just sticks in my heart forever, nothing else is coming out. It just needs to get out. So,
yes. Yes. Okay, anyways, Surf Ninjas stars Ernie Reyes Sr. as Zatch, Ernie Reyes Jr. as Johnny, Nicholas Cowan as Adam, John Carlin as Mac, Leslie Nielsen as Colonel Chi, Kelly Hu as Romay, Tone Loc as Lieutenant Spence, Nathan Young as Manchu, and of course, Rob Schneider as Iggy. Everybody's favorite comedian turned conservative, Rob Schneider.
Yep. best acting role. I mean, like, just the best. Like, I can just imagine them like casting this film, and they had all these other people auditioning. You're like, you know what? We want that guy from SNL, who's 30 years old at the time, and we want him to play a 16-year-old high school student. Let's do it.
Something tells me that they wrote the movie first. And the studio was like, hey, we got to give Rob Schneider a movie.
Right. Oh, God.
That's my guess, because at that point, Rob Schneider was pretty hot.
He was. He's pretty huge. I mean,
yeah.
He was on SNL for a while. He was he was in a couple of movies, I think, at that point. And they're like, you know what? Let's just dye his hair red, make him wear, a T-shirt that's too large for him, and his friend's dad's boxer shorts to school. Okay, let's run with it.
Didn't you do that when you were a kid?
Oh, all the time. Yeah. I also would break into my friend's house at like 7 in the morning on a school day and just cook breakfast for myself using their food without, asking permission first if it's okay if I just, eat there. Did that all the time. So.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the way of the Iggy.
This is the way. Yep. This is the way of Iggy. The Iggy Lorian. Okay.
Yeah. The way of the Iggy. Iggynomics, if you will.
Yeah. That's how you save money. You just go to your friend's dad's house and just steal his food and make breakfast and wear his boxer shorts to school.
Yes.
So,
it's a great lesson in Iggynomics.
Yep.
A new word that is going to be in the Webster's Dictionary next year.
Yeah.
Iggynomics.
Yeah.
So, this was released in August 20th of 1993 by New Line Cinemas.
New Line?
Yeah.
Missed that company.
They're still around. They're just...
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah, they're just owned by Warner Brothers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're a subsidiary.
Same company that did Mortal Kombat. Bunch of other movies, of course. I can't think of them, but
New Line's most famous property was the Freddy movies, the Nightmare on Elm Street films.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of what made the studio. There's actually, if you ever watch the Never Sleep Again documentary about the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, it's gives you a great background of New Line Cinemas in it as well. It's really cool what John Shea and everybody did with that. It was actually a really cool indie film company until they got bought out. But
damn it.
I do believe they were also responsible. Were they? I don't know. I'm trying to remember. Were they responsible for the Ninja Turtles as well? Speaking of ninjas.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
New Line Cinema. Yeah, I think so.
I think they did release the Ninja Turtle movies. I'm not sure though.
At least part 2. I don't know about part 1, but at least part 2. So
yes,
because that's the thing.
Secret of the Ooze.
Yeah, Secret of the Ooze. Like, speaking of like good memories, like I remember seeing this movie again, Surf Ninjas, and again, it's a matter of interpretation of how you want to pronounce it. You could call it Surf Ninjas. I call it Surf Ninjas. So that's just how I do it. But it's an academic discussion. I ended up seeing this in the theater. My parents took me to see it when it came out. And I remember being in like the summer, not like 8 days before school was starting, but maybe that's just in my memory. I wanted to believe it was like earlier summer because I always hated like the last few weeks of summer because I knew I had to go back to school. But like, so I remember seeing it like in June or July, but obviously that's not the case because the movie didn't come out in that time. So must have been like right when it came out. And I just remember thinking that movie was so cool. Same thing with, Ninja Turtles 2, although that I think that movie holds up a little bit better than this one does. But,
that'll be the long debated, topic of cinema studies forever.
What?
Which movie holds up better, Secret of the Ooze or Surf Ninjas?
yes. It's in the box office proves it. I mean, this movie made a whopping $4.3 million in the box office. So, obviously money doesn't measure everything, but movie that's released in the summer in the 90s, early 90s, when karate movies and like those kind of movies were getting really popular since like the late 80s. So you had about 6 years of like momentum of like making a movie like that, and pretty much just like a cash crop, and then it makes $4.3 million in the box office. So yeah, then again though, 93, a lot of movies came out in the summer of 93 though that were really good, so it had a lot to compete with. So
just for comparison, Secret of the Ooze made $78.6 million in the box office.
Yeah, so yeah, even the 1993 standards, 4.3 million, not a lot.
Yeah,
Rob Schneider probably got paid like $500,000 right there for his, or $1 million for his, his nauseating comic relief role that was just way over the top, way too much. When you got a ketchup bottle, you don't have to, empty the whole bottle on that sandwich, just a few squirts is good, or the French fries or whatever you use ketchup on. I don't know. That's your choice what you use ketchup on, or if you use ketchup at all, whatever sauce you're using on your food. At a certain point, you just got to stop squeezing, man. You just got to stop squeezing. That's a good catchphrase right now. Got to stop squeezing.
Yes.
So.
Yes. That is words to live by, Matt. Words to live by. We do have to point out that he was 30 years old.
Yes.
Playing a teenager, whom I'm assuming was probably supposed to be about 16, because this was 2 weeks before Johnny's 16th birthday.
Yeah. And they couldn't drive. That was a big thing.
Yeah, so I'm assuming maybe he was a little older. Maybe he was like 16 or 17.
Right.
But still, he's 30. And he looks 30.
He does. He looks 30.
This isn't a 90210 situation where some of the actors were younger, but they looked older, or like a Dawson's Creek Andy situation where Meredith Monroe, who played Andy, was like in her mid-20s playing a teenager. But
yeah,
it's and looked like a teenager, so it was okay. Or like I just recently binged the new reboot of Saved by the Bell, and I was looking up the ages of some of the actors that are playing the teenagers, and one of them is like 29 years old.
Oh, wow.
But he doesn't look it. I think he's 29, something like that. He's in his mid to late 20s or whatever, and then there's other ones that are like 25 and stuff like that. So, yeah, but none of them look like they are that age.
Yeah.
And and mind you, if you see the great movie I directed called Pi Day Die Day,
Pi Day, yeah.
Most of our teenagers were in their 30s. So
Yeah.
I can't really say complain about this too much. But we kind of did that on purpose. That's why in our thing, the writer Lindsay LaForest wrote the two lead female characters were both named Gabrielle, after Gabrielle Carteris, who was basically in her 30s playing a teenager on 90210. So that's why we did that on purpose. So, okay. So, anywho, back to this great cinematic achievement. The Citizen Kane of Surf Ninja movies. Surf Ninjas.
Yes. Or Surf Ninjas, depending on how you pronounce it.
I'm hearing it exactly the same every time you say it, so I don't know.
Well, it's the emphasis on the word. So surf ninjas. You see?
I get you.
I'm saying it, emphasizing on surf, whereas in actuality, ninjas is probably the more correct thing because it's more about the fact that they're, quote, ninjas, which I don't understand how. For one thing, okay, well, we haven't even talked about the movie. Well, I'll get to that when we actually start talking about the movie. But because I have some complaints about the title and what it implies and that it does not actually follow through. But that's okay.
So why don't we get started here, Matt? Let's start with a little bit about what happened in this film.
Sure.
So, what did happen?
Okay, I watched this movie like 4 times in the past week, and I'm still like confused. Like just because it's an hour and 27 minutes long, and it feels like 10 movies are going on at once, and so I guess I just go like just bit by bit, I guess. So, they're like Johnny's a typical teenager, and his little brother Adam, is kind of like his best buddy or whatever, hangs out with them all the time, and they like to surf and stuff like that. They're kind of like slackers when it comes to school. Their dad's always nagging them like to do their homework and telling them they need to find like a backup career if surfing doesn't work out. That whole thing. And then it turns out that there's like all these ninjas that like are showing up and like trying to attack them, but then there's like this dude with an eye patch that's just like beating them up every time they try to get to their house, and they have no idea what's going on. They're just sitting there talking to their dad, and they go to school and everything like that. And of course, Rob Schneider, his character Iggy is like their best friend for some reason. I think they just keep him there for like comic relief because he's so fucking annoying as a person. But yeah, and they slack, some more. Adam's supposed to like tell the teacher where Spain is, and he can't find it on the map because he's a fucking idiot. How do you not know where Spain is? Okay, and then Johnny was supposed to like introduce like some spiritual guru for some reason. They never explained why. Like he's not like valedictorian or anything like that, so I have no idea why he was given this huge responsibility, knowing that he's a complete slacker and doesn't even do his homework. But okay, so that's plot convenience, I guess. This whole movie's full of plot convenience that they just slip in there with no fucking effort.
Maybe they chose him because he was Asian.
I guess, but
I'm just trying to guess. That was probably the 90s. I don't know.
No, that's extremely racist because I don't even think that guru was even part of the same country that he's from or whatever. So, like, oh well, you're Asian. Just go ahead and invite this. Do a okay. So whatever. He was supposed to do like a traditional type of like welcoming, ceremony for, from this guy's culture, and instead, of course, he just riffs it and he does like a take on Barbara Ann, but it's Baba Ram was his name. So like ba 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 Ram. Oh god, I don't even want to think about it right now. It's so fucking stupid. But they do this stupid song and dance, and everyone, and it looks like he's all offended. Like, wait a minute, I can't believe that, whatever type of thing. And the ninjas come at some point and try to kill him at school, but the eye patch guy, I forgot his name.
Zach.
Zach. He beats up those ninjas. Like the ninjas are all over the place. They're swarming all over Los Angeles at this point, just trying to follow Adam and Johnny everywhere they go. Zach is just taking them out like flies, and eventually, Iggy. Okay, so Iggy is kind of like the Ron Weasley of comic relief, like before Harry Potter came out, which is interesting because he also has red hair. Probably a coincidence, but who knows? He's always eating all the time. Like that's his, like one of his gimmicks. Like like also, okay, so this is a little, I'm like kind of going off the rails here, but like my mind is like on a million things at once. But like, so another 90s trope that's in this movie, there's lots of 90s tropes. Like every 90s trope you could have is somehow like snuck in this movie. Like a turkey just stuffed in there into like its anal cavity because it's so whatever. Okay, because the movie's shit. Anyway, I hope no one hears this from the movie and like takes offense, like the actors or whatever. But so like one of the 90s tropes in here, because you remember in the 90s, especially early 90s, like there was almost every movie that was like kind of like geared towards kids or teenagers always seemed to have like the father that hated their children's friends for whatever reason. Like I don't know like how that got started, but it seems like every single movie, and it was like almost like either like a comment on society at the time or almost like brainwashing dads to hate their children's friends for some reason. Because like this guy like hates Iggy. I mean like with a passion. Like he hates him. Like he's like, oh, he's still hungry, huh? And he takes all the food and just like throws it in the trash. Like his own food that he himself is wasting.
I know it's like it's the I don't know. I want to say like the it's kind of like, okay, I've watched some recent episodes of California, not recent episodes, but I recently watched some episodes of California Dreams. Mm-hmm. The great 90s, Peter Engel, TNBC show. And the one character on there, I can't remember his name, but anyways, he was the friend of the family, and the parents seemed to like dislike him. And that happens all the time too. It was like it's kind of the whole Steve Urkel sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Like Urkelmania, Encino Man, that was a big one because he hated Pauly Shore's character. Yeah. And it was also a very similar character. He was always showing up for dinner. Well, a lot of it had to do with like just basically being like a freeloader, essentially. Like, like, don't your parents feed you? Don't your parents clothe you? And like you never know like where these people's. It's actually kind of sad if you think about it because well, okay, yeah, where is this guy's parents at? Like, for real? Like, are they even around? Like, what's going on? Like, with this person's home? Like, do they?
Well, it's like it's like Kimmy Gibbler on Full House, or
right, yeah.
or Steve on Full House, actually, because he would come over and eat all their food.
Right.
So this is totally a '90s trope. It is.
It is, but it's also very sad because it's just like, okay, but like. What if like this kid is like literally like has like deadbeat parents or something like that, or just impoverished parents that can't provide, for their children for whatever reason, and then like instead though they're like making fun of the person, like, oh, you're such a freeloader, and it's like they just want like a meal, like like fuck you, like you stupid poor piece of shit or whatever. Like anyway, so. That was kind of off the rails, but that was a 90s trope. It's in the movie. The other 90s trope is the whole like if you're a guy, like you're not allowed to like show affection to another guy without saying I'm not gay or whatever like that. Like that was another big 90s trope. Also like a sort of maybe like casual transphobia / homophobia. I say / because it depends on the context of what they're getting at. Because he says like Adam at one point says that he envisions Zach wearing a dress, and he's like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "Psych." 1993.
Yeah.
Anyway, what happens? I totally forgot what happens. So they're at the burger stand. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I don't know. Did you want to take a break really quick, and then we'll come back and finish the plot of this this amazing film here?
Sure.
Okay, we'll be right back, folks.
Hello, I'm Tom.
And I'm Brian,
Hosts of Be Hero Fights.
home of the greatest debates of our time.
We tackle the tough topics such as
Fortnite versus Call of Duty.
McDonald's versus Burger King.
John Wick versus...
Wait, is that really fair?
Nevertheless, join us weekly on Spotify, Apple, Google, and pretty much anywhere you can find podcasts.
And hear the madness ensue.
And as always,
Fight on.
And we are back, 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 back. Okay.
Oh God.
Anyways,
I am not on drugs, by the way.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
I am. Well, they're prescribed by my doctor.
Oh,
So.
there you go. That's fine.
Yeah. So, what else happens in this wonderful film here?
So they're at the burger shop where their adoptive father works or owns, I don't know. And the ninjas, well, first Zatch shows up, and then the ninjas come in and they have like a huge fight in there. And they kidnap Mac, their adoptive father, and Zatch, takes him, gets him out of the way, goes to the beach. Also, for some reason, Adam has, well, this happens a little bit later, but Adam has a Game Gear, Sega Game Gear.
Yes.
And somehow the game like changes to like him, and he's able to like predict like the future like a few seconds in advance or whatever through the game. Which they do explain that, which I'm actually glad they did, because a lot of these movies they don't even explain why. They just throw it in the movie and then they don't offer. They actually do offer an explanation at some point, so that's good. At least this writer of Surf Ninjas, he had the foresight to actually explain certain things, not everything, but certain things. Like, for example, he didn't explain why the fuck Rob Schneider had to be in this movie and just being a nauseating comic relief the entire movie. Oh my God. Anyway,
Again, we might not want to blame him. It could be the studio.
It's true, but he wrote the script though, so
Yeah, but he might not have written it for Rob Schneider.
Yeah, that's true. The person could have delivered the lines somewhat differently. So Zatch, he keeps disappearing all the time because he's a ninja, I guess, and that's what ninjas do. And they end up going back home or to Iggy's house, I guess. I don't know. And no, not Iggy's house. They go to their house, and the cop, like this lieutenant or whatever, he's like, trying to follow up on what happened, and Iggy is disguising himself as like a distant uncle or relative who's Scottish, I guess, and in a wheelchair for some reason. I don't understand why that was necessary. I know, because the cop didn't even see Iggy to begin with, so there was, for one thing, there was no reason to even have a disguise to begin with. And there was certainly no reason to add a wheelchair into the mix just for kicks or lack thereof, whatever, because he had to make a point about his leg not working or whatever. This movie's just weird. And
but this was also after they met. Was this after they met Romay?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I think it was before they met. I don't know. I just watched it before we started recording.
Yeah.
This is how there's certain movies that I can watch 10 times and it's just, I don't know, it just confuses me and I can't remember much. This is definitely one of those films, and if you want to call it that. And yeah, they stay there for a little bit, and then the Game Gear thing happens, I think, at that point, and then Zatch, shows up to like prove how easy it was to like break into their house, and it's like, yeah, okay, because you're a ninja, and these are like little kids who don't fucking know anything about fighting, so like, what do you expect them to have like fucking barracks, like, in their house, like an hour after a dad just got kidnapped? Like, whatever. Okay, and then he takes him to this restaurant called like Imperial Palace or something like that. That's supposed to be like the expatriate community of Patusanian or Patusan, the Patusan people, which don't exist in real life, and they have like this ceremony, basically like crowning them as like the two princes Oh, and also this is the part where we get to constantly hear for the next 55 minutes of the film of Iggy claiming that he's royalty for some reason, and he never lets it go.
And there's an interesting situation in here too, where at one point the what's his name, Johnny tells Iggy that he can't be the leader because he's not even Asian.
Right.
Rob Schneider, however, is part Filipino. I'm just wanting to point that out, which is also the same nationality that the actor who plays Johnny, Ernie Reyes Jr., is.
Well, maybe it was kind of funny. Maybe he knew he was in real life, and it was like, just like kind of like a funny, like, oh, I doubt it. I don't think the characters in this movie knew that the actor playing Iggy,
because he doesn't really look Filipino, because he's not fully Filipino. He's only part.
Well, especially
Filipino.
with the freaking red hair and the stupid boxer shorts he's wearing. He just looks like you're running the mill douchebag. But sorry. Well, I'm pretty sure some Filipinos can be assholes, but I'm just saying he looks like you're just stupid, like stereotypical 1990s, like LA type of, like a lot of movies, whatever. Yeah, there were a lot of movies like this during that era where it's just so.
And by the way, I recently became friends with Ernie Reyes Jr. on Facebook, and I just wanted to say hi in case he's listening to this.
Yeah, I'm sorry for bashing this movie so much.
And if he would like to be on the show and talk about this movie, I would love that.
Yeah,
I would absolutely, or talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which he is also in, the first one. So, yes. So
was it the first one or part two?
He's in the first one, I believe.
Oh, yes.
Or maybe he's part two. I can't remember. He's in one of them. I can't remember which one. I'm trying to remember.
Was he the one? I think it was part two where he was the delivering pizzas. Or was that someone else?
Let me see here. He was in. He was in one of them. I know that much.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Oh, he was in part two. He was in part two as Kino. Yes.
Was he the guy that was delivering pizzas off the scooter and then?
I think so. It's been years since I've seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. Yeah, he was in Secret of the Ooze. So he was in the second one. Okay, cool. Yeah, which we've already talked about. So, okay, cool.
Yeah. Sweet. And, oh God. So, can I talk about some other stuff that's going on in this movie before I forget?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so this is not really about the plot per se, but it's just, it is, but it's not. Let me explain. So, I don't understand how the main villain in this movie is like some random white guy who, I don't understand, how did this guy end up in this kingdom in the first place, and how did he create a rival clan to try to take over this kingdom? Okay, that's point number one. Also, Mac is some random American white dude that somehow worked for the kingdom at the palace. How does that happen? I'm not saying it's impossible, but it seems odd. Well,
the first one is because it was Leslie Nielsen.
Okay.
That's my only explanation. I don't know.
Okay.
But the Mac thing, I don't understand. So,
he worked at the palace performing some kind of function. I don't know what, but pretty higher up in the. I would imagine pretty higher up in the hierarchy, because it goes from king to Zach, who it turns out is actually their uncle. And then right below him is Mac and the chain of command of who takes care of these kids. What was he doing?
He was he was the master of Iggynomics.
And, yes. So that's just the point I wanted to make about that. Not always. When I saw it as a kid, I didn't think anything of it, but now I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, just some random white dude from America is just happens to be working at the palace of this Asian kingdom for some reason, and then he goes and opens up a burger stand in Los Angeles.
Like
Okay.
you do, like you do.
Like you do, like, you know. And the thing is, though, is that his personality is so, like, he doesn't act like some, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't act like someone who would work. Again, because when you say work, when you're living in a kingdom and you work in a palace, it's not like a job. Like, you know, like, I work at the palace. Like, no, it's like something you do that's like a part of like your identity. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like there's a whole like nobility aspect to it. Like, it's not like, oh, it's time to go to work at the palace today. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not. So
It's like being Jared Kushner.
Yes,
I'm just joking.
Yes, it's like. Yes, it's like. It's just like Jared Kushner. That's a good crossover now. Jared replaces Rob Schneider's character as Iggy.
Yes.
And call him Jerry. And they call it Jerrynomics is his economic system.
Yes.
And he's always claiming whatever.
I hate Jared Kushner.
I'm getting lost here.
So basically, what we have happen is eventually, Zatch takes the kids to Patusan.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow the cop comes with them, played by Tone Loc of Funky Called Medina fame, and playing a guard in a couple episodes of News Radio, which I loved. Anyways, Tone Loc is awesome.
And Ace Ventura, Pet Detective.
Oh yeah, of course.
Right?
Yes,
of course.
Co-starring former All Too Real 2 guest Troy Evans. Anyways, so there's a connection there between the movies and stuff that we've done before. Anyways, so basically they go to the Patusan, and they, you know, the Lieutenant Spence is with them as well, like I said. Okay, so they reach Patusan and discover that Colonel Cheese or Chies or Cheese, whatever it is, Cheese, I think it is, yeah. Colonel Cheese rule has wrought, including a burned village and a chain gang of political prisoners. The guards spot them, and they are forced to fight. Johnny and Adam defeat them and free the villagers from their captivity. Anyways, they go to this cave of some sort where there's a bunch of weapons from the monarchy, and Zatch makes Johnny fight him to prove his abilities and shit like that, and this really long scene that could have been a lot shorter, and so they're okay, so they are rallying the villagers, and they travel to the coast opposite from the island that houses the Colonel Cheese dungeon. They can't go by boat because of an impassable reef. So Adam looks at these trees, and he's just, you know, like, hey, can they carve stuff out of wood? Or something like that. And so they make surfboards.
Yep.
And they paddle to the unguarded side of the island. So, and during this point, we do find out that Iggy's never surfed, which was obvious to everyone. But
he was always trying to get out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. They get on the island. Johnny and Zatch attack the royal city, taking Chi and his henchmen down. They free Mac, who is there. During the battle, Zatch is revealed to be their uncle. And Zatch, by the way, is played by the father of Ernie Reyes Jr. So,
Yeah.
Anyways, they defeat them with the help of Adam and his Game Gear. So basically then at some point during this whole situation, Romay, who is betrothed to Johnny, says that she doesn't want to get married because, basically saying that she doesn't want to be in an arranged marriage, but she still wants to date Johnny. I just wanted to point that out. So
yeah.
So who knows? They might get married. They might not. We'll have to find out in Surf Ninjas 2. The surfing. And
30 years later.
Yes. They really should make that. That'd be a great movie.
Should. Oh my god. I would, if they did like a GoFundMe page or whatever, I would definitely contribute if I had something.
Yes. And they need to bring in like 60-year-old Rob Schneider to play a 30-year-old or something. Yes. And or whatever.
He just goes on anti-vaccine rants throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. What they should do is they should bring in Rob Schneider to play like his kid.
Yeah.
Like Iggy the Second. And he's a teenager. And
yes.
And he's like in his 60s or whatever. Anyways, basically what happens is, after they beat everybody, at some point Adam, just the importance is Adam thinks that the Game Gear is what's giving him his abilities, but he finds out that he can actually foresee things and stuff and everything. I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. That's his power, because Johnny's supposed to be like the warrior
prince, or he's the prince of visions or some bullshit.
Yeah, like a seer type of person. Like,
So, anyways, they're ended up seated, and they beat Chi and everything, and all of his people, and Johnny is seated and Harold the warrior prince, and Romay is this princess, and Adam as a prince. Johnny then declares the monarchy to be dissolved and announces that Patu-san will operate as a democracy. His reason, Wait. His reasons for doing this is for the people to finally be free of rule, good or evil.
No bullshit. Sorry, that's American propaganda right there. Okay, some monarchies are cool. Okay, not every country needs to be a democracy. Okay, sorry, end of rant. Let it be a monarchy. It's fine. Hey, we lived under a quasi monarchy as it is for the past 4 years. I'm just getting used to it. So
yes. All hail King Trump. Anyways, and his tiny desk. Anyways, and probably tiny penis. Anyways,
whoa.
That's shaped like a mushroom. Anyways,
oh boy.
So, that is the plot of this great film. Do you want to take another break here, Matt, and then come back and we can talk about some trivia and reviews and other great things about this wonderful film?
With pleasure, but I first want to mention about the whole ancient weaponry thing in the cave.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
It's scene where Iggy is just going on and on. Like, it was supposed, like, they were trying to go for, like, this funny sarcasm thing. Just does not land well at all. I tell you, if you watch this movie, you just want to strangle this guy. Maybe that was the point, but it's overkill. It really is. Because at one point, Zatch says, this knife is, like, so sacred or whatever. Money can't buy it. And he goes on for, like, 5 minutes. Like, money can't buy knives. I'm like, oh my god, it's just so annoying. Like, I just wanted to kill that guy. Like, I really did. Like, I wanted to actually murder Rob Schneider physically while watching that. Okay, so
and,
now we can go.
And by the way, if you do want to watch this, the whole movie's currently, as we record this, in full on YouTube.
A user's account,
yes,
not a
not officially on there. So yeah, and I looked elsewhere, and it's like really hard to find streaming anywhere. So, but you can buy that on DVD and stuff too. So,
oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so all right,
we gotta do that. Yeah.
We'll be right back here after a word from our sponsors.
Do you have dreams that you want to achieve but are scared to do so due to self-doubt, fear, and other people's criticism? I have just what you need. You need a dose of the Living the Dream with Curveball podcast, where I interview guests that will motivate and inspire you to stop at nothing to achieve your dreams. And always remember, if you believe, you can achieve.
And we are back, folks. Back. Okay. Here's some trivia about the film Surf Ninjas, which is the greatest thing that Rob Schneider produced besides El King. Anyways, his daughter, who is very talented. Anyways, have you heard her music before, Matt?
No.
Yeah, look her up. Rob Schneider's daughter, Elle King. She is brilliant. Honestly,
okay.
She's really good. Anyways, there is a real Surf Ninjas game for the Sega Game Gear. But it's completely different from what Adam was playing. However, the game Adam plays in the movie is also real. It was developed by Sega exclusively for the use in the movie.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they also make a Surf Ninjas for like the Amiga CD?
They may have.
I think the Angry Video Game Nerd did an episode on Amiga. And I think that was what, but the game again has nothing to do with the movie. And also too, you can like knock people's heads off and slit their throats, which I don't remember that happening in the movie. So
that's in the deleted scenes. No, I'm joking. This is the first film to feature both Ernie Reyes Sr. and Jr. The portable video game system Adam plays throughout the movie is the Sega Game Gear, a handheld version of the Sega Master System. It was Sega's answer to the Nintendo Game Boy, which came out a year earlier. I do. So basically, and here's another part of it. Sega Game Gear was a big part of the story because Sega financed part of the production. So that's why it was, such a big plot point. Ernie Reyes Jr. actually holds a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo. Just
awesome.
He currently, from what I've seen on his Facebook and stuff, he currently teaches Taekwondo and other things. And other martial arts. So, if you're in the Los Angeles area, go sign up and you can learn lessons from Ernie Reyes Jr. I would if I could.
I used to take Taekwondo for like a year and a half when I was a kid, but I don't remember much, unfortunately. But I did like it a lot. I remember that much.
I went to one martial arts class and I learned how to flip people, and that's all I ever did.
Awesome.
I was able to flip some guy like twice my size once. I did it by accident too. Like I learned how to do it, and he came up to me just as a joke, like pushing me, and we were just joking back and forth, and I grabbed his hand and I flipped him.
It's muscle memory. It's awesome.
Yeah, and he fell to the ground and hurt himself. I felt really bad. The Patusan scenes were filmed in Thailand. As we've said before, Rob Schneider played a teenager, although he was 30. Shooting in Thailand was very hot and humid. Shooting in Los Angeles was more problematic because the weather was cooler than expected. The moto surf scenes were shot in 60-degree weather, and many of the night scenes were colder than 50 degrees. After each shot, the actors would put on coats and stand by heaters.
Wow.
As we've said before, Rob Schneider is part Filipino, the same ethnicity as Ernie Reyes Jr. and Sr. Patusan is also the name of the country that Ernie Reyes Jr.'s character was from on the short-lived TV series Sidekicks in 1986. Both Kelly Hu and Ernie Reyes Jr. have appeared in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise. Hu was Kari in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1987 cartoon series on Nickelodeon. Wait, yeah, that doesn't make sense. Okay, anyways, and Reyes as Kino in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze. Reyes was also a stunt double, the stunt Donatello in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1. So he was in 1 too as well, so there we go.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. The name Romay is only mentioned once throughout the film. The game cartridge that got magically replaced for Adam's Sega Game Gear was Shinobi. Ernie Reyes was offered the role of Donatello in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3, but he was already working on this film, so he couldn't do it.
I dodged that bullet.
Yes. I don't know which would. Anyways, Johnny wears a San Jose Sharks hat throughout the movie. Ernie Reyes Jr. is a native of San Jose, California. Both Ernie Reyes' Jr. and Sr. are Filipino descent, and can be heard saying a few phrases in Tagalog, Filipino's main language, to some of the villagers. Since Patusan is a fictional Asian country, the language that is spoken is a mix of several different Asian languages, such as Vietnamese, Filipino, and Thai, etc. Yep. So that is the trivia that we have there. Here are some user reviews culled from the Internet Movie Database. Okay, 10 out of 10.
Okay.
My favorite movie. This is from Liz Ard 83. From June 30th of 2006. Everything about this movie is ridiculous. The plot is dumb. The characters are cheesy, as the jokes are lame. It is one of the most hysterical movies I have ever watched. I saw it first when I was about 10 because my little brother was on a ninja movie kick. I think I liked it better than he did. Of course, back then, I thought Johnny was cute. I'm quite a lot older now, and this movie still makes me laugh as hard today as I did then. As pathetic as this movie is, it has to be my favorite. I think everyone on the planet should see this movie at least a dozen times. It's not a cinematic masterpiece, but it's worth every minute. Okay.
That's a confusing review because it's like half insulting and then
Here's another 10 out of 10. This is a must-have for any film collection. This is from Amethyst Flames from February 8th of 2009. Whenever I see reviews of this movie, they usually include things like only boys under the age of 9 would actually like it. When this film came out, I was a 10-year-old girl, and 15 years later, it's still my all-time favorite film. Rob Schneider is beyond hysterical as Iggy. The only truly disappointing performance is that of Leslie Nielsen, which is thankfully overshadowed by the entertainment value of his character. The characters are so likable that it's hard to choose a favorite. The plot is silly, yes, but it's fun and entertaining, and it doesn't try to be more than what it is. A comic kids movie about ninjas. It doesn't bother trying to pull off angst like the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or drama like Three Ninjas. It just sets out to make you laugh, and it succeeds. Young boys will love it, but so will anyone interested in humor, lighthearted adventure, and fight scenes from before the days of slow motion and Matrix disbelief.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Okay, here's another 10 out of 10, Matt. You want to hear this one?
Yep.
Okay, this one is from CMEY Mail. And this is from April 10th of 2019. The headline is, I worked on this movie. I worked on this movie. I produced the Sega Game Gear portions of the movie. I find the comments interesting. Maybe I can clear a few things up. Three Ninjas came out just before Surf Ninjas. It was a very low budget movie. I was surprised they got the talent they did. I really enjoyed working on this film. Being a video game producer, I was welcomed with open arms. It's funny that no one got that Ernie Reyes Jr. is one of the Ninja Turtles. He is an absolute martial arts master. Personally, I thought it could be better when it was done, but I watched a couple of months ago and really enjoyed it. Sometimes it is tough when you are so close to a project to enjoy it. I truly enjoy reading the comments, and so many of them got the movie. What? Okay, so that was some reviews of the movie. This movie surprisingly has a lot of really high reviews. People love this movie for some reason.
Well,
yeah, I mean, like, the lowest I'm seeing is like a 4 out of 10. Well, here's a 1 out of 10. I'll read this one so we get another side of the coin. This is from Buyers. In April 18th of 1999. This movie was made for MST3K. Surf Ninjas was made near the peak of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles craze, and it is obviously a blatant attempt to capitalize on the Ninja Mania. They didn't do a very good job. This movie is such a great candidate for Mystery Science Theater 3000 that the producers should have skipped its distribution to theaters and sent it straight to the bots. Okay. Their story, by the way, this person spelled "their" wrong. They used the wrong "there," and I hate that. Anyways, okay. I'm what you call a surf Nazi. Oh wait, no, I mean a spelling Nazi. Sorry, a grammar Nazi. Anyways, their story is that of a couple of kids, brothers, heirs to the throne of an island country that has been overthrown by a tyrant, are living in exile in the U.S., blah, 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 They just explained the movie after that. But anyways, okay, so I thought, basically they say, and it says, it's a commercial tie-in for Sega Game Gear, and you've got yourself one giant waste of money. That's what they're saying it is. Okay. So, I want to point out something. There was the critical response to this movie. The Baltimore Sun thought the film's lead, Ernie Reyes Jr., was too old at 20 and muscular to be believed as a 15-year-old. They said nothing about Rob Schneider playing a teenager, but they thought that Ernie Reyes Jr. at 20 years old was too old. Even though his best friend was 10 years older than him. And supposed to be in the same high school.
Wow.
So yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Yeah. Anything else here, Matt? Would you recommend this movie to anyone?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't know. Just for maybe, like nostalgia sake, because like I do remember seeing this in the theater and coming out of the theater loving it and thinking it was great. So like maybe just like holding on to like that kind of like fleeting memory type of thing, but like
Yeah.
don't expect to like it really unless you just have a terrible personality and you like that for some reason. I mean, like if you want to make fun of it with friends or do like your own podcast or YouTube video, whatever, to talk about it, that's fine. But like, I don't really think you're gonna like genuinely enjoy this movie and be like, yeah, I can't get enough of Rob Schneider's antics and just nauseating comic relief character that he's just like pushing the envelope to the point where it's just gonna completely break in half. So yeah, I guess I would recommend it.
Me too. I think it's a good bad movie. It's a good bad movie.
Yeah. Again, no offense to the actors and people who make it. I know
it's a product of its time. I think at the time it was probably good. You know what I mean? It's not like, I mean, we're looking at it, almost 30 years later, and it's like kind of.
Well, the thing is, I noticed something too about the movie. A lot of those catchphrases have come back now in style, like "bra," that's now, and also "aggro." Like I thought those were like new sayings that like Gen Z came up with. I've totally forgot about like all that stuff. Like because they say like usually 25 to 30 years when things start to come back in style again. So who knows? We might get a Surf Ninjas 2 in like a couple of years from now.
Well, with all of the reboots and nostalgia of the world, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we could get a Surf Ninjas TV series for all we know. You know what I mean?
Right, or a reboot,
Netflix or something, or HBO Max or something. So who knows? I'm all for it if they do want to do it. Hell, I'll direct it if they want me to. On another note here, some sad news happened recently that I just wanted to talk about. Our good friend Jamal Wallace-Knight, who has been on this show several times, sadly passed away recently. And I just wanted to, we're going to try to figure out a way to attach a charity or something to our episodes by the time this airs, hopefully. To help people out that are dealing with similar issues to what Jamal was dealing with health-wise. He was probably one of my best friends, and it's really sad that he's not going to be around anymore. Been trying to deal with it all week. I'm still in like the shock. Me too.
Like I keep thinking like he's just gonna like pop up and like, oh, hopefully it was a prank or what. Like just it's weird. I almost feel kind of bad because I haven't really like had like much emotion. It's just kind of like almost like just like deadpan.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But that's also too because again, I'm not at all comparing like different species to a human, but like my dog passed away like 2 weeks ago, so I was dealing with that, and then it was like 10 days after that, like
so
it's a lot of stuff.
It's been a tough year for a lot of reasons, and and if you go back and listen to the couple episodes of the like three or four episodes that Jamal was part of, he's one of the funniest people I ever knew. Kindest, would do anything for anybody. It's just sad when people like that leave the world. And it's hard to, they're irreplaceable, so it's hard to deal with that. I knew Jamal for, 7 to 10 years or something like that, and got to be really close to him working on films, and just hanging out with him and other things too. And we were in the process of producing 3 or 4 movies, so
Right.
hopefully we can get those produced in his honor.
Right. And the thing is too is like, even though he was like super talented and stuff, that stuff is nice and it's good secondary qualities, but the main things is like how good of a person he was. I mean, because he didn't talk about it a lot, but he had a lot of like issues in his life, like whether it came to like his own personal history, health. I mean, there was a lot of stuff to deal with, and he was really, really kind and nice. And yes, he was super talented, and that's nice to talk about. But that's, even if he wasn't, that wouldn't matter. But the fact is that he was writing a book about his life. He was working on several films. He had a gaming channel. He was teaching himself how to play the piano. He was going to law school. And one of the sad things about it is I think that he always felt like he wasn't doing enough, which he certainly was, and he was doing way more than most people his age were, or any age for that matter. But so yeah,
he's only 36 years old, which is really sad. And
right.
I mean, it's sad when anybody dies, period. But that's way too young. He had so much more to give the world, both talent wise, like you said, and just personal wise too. Because I mean, he would walk into a room and you knew that Jamal was there. It wasn't like he stood out, and I mean, the other day there's he was the master. I mean, this is more about his talent, but still, it just made me think about his humor. He was the master of the reaction, and there was a scene in the movie Pi Day Die Day, which I directed, where this girl's going on about crazy shit that happened at her old school, and Jamal just gives this response where he's about to say something and then doesn't say it because he just realizes it's not going to matter, and it's just the response in his face, and that was all Jamal. I don't believe that was in the script or that I directed him to do that. I think that was all Jamal. So it's just great when you see things like that. I thought about that the other day, and it actually made me cry for about a half hour when I was thinking about just that one reaction. So
I was thinking about that same scene. I think in the golf cart.
No, that was a different thing. Yeah, but this was in a shop room in that movie. But there is a scene in a golf cart where he does have a rap, which is hilarious. But yeah, he and this actor Jack, who was in the movie, they have this great rap scene together in that movie that's at the end of the credits, and it's just great. But kind of helps show Jamal's personality to people that will never get to know him. But if you listen to the episodes that we had of this with him in it, and I'm not trying to get people to listen to that just to get us listens or anything. I just want people to know. I just want people to know who Jamal was, and and look up his Gaming After Dark and any of the like Twitch streams he had and all these different things too. You can get to know his personality through those. He's a great guy who will really be missed. I don't know what else to say, really.
It's
just sad.
It's I know, like, I don't know, like, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, like, usually when I go to bed, that's when I start thinking about him more because I'm trying to sleep and stuff. And usually I could kind of distract myself throughout the day, doing other stuff or whatever. But then it's
hard. But anyways, hope you're in heaven making God laugh and whatever else, Jamal. We'll miss you a lot. I'm going to dedicate this episode and every future episode to Jamal.
Right. Yep.
So, God bless. And anything else, Matt?
No, that's about it.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.